What's up world, it's your boy Drew Marcy here for How to Rap, and in this video we're gonna show you how to write a rap diss step by step. Even better, we're gonna have you creating the blueprint for your own rap diss in this video right here right now by guiding you through each step. The best part is each step is gonna come with very clear examples from some of the flawless victories in rap battle history. Nas's Ether, Eminem's Killshot, Pusha T's The Story of Adidon, and Drake's back to back. So without further ado, get out your notes app or your notepad and get ready to learn how to write a rap diss step by step. Now, before we begin, be sure to subscribe to this channel with notifications because we drop weekly step-by-step trainings on how to write a rap on any topic, how to write rap songs in full, and much more. And if you're super serious about creating a full rap diss song for the purposes of a battle or just to embarrass somebody who's been messing with you, be sure to pick up our Rap Battle Bootcamp free bonus course by visiting the first link in the video description box below. Now, as we were doing the research for this video and looking back at years of rapping and listening to rap disses, we realized that pretty much every unanimous flawless victory from the masses as far as who they think won was actually initially a response to some kind of insult or original song from the other opponent. Think about it. Nas's Ether was a response to Jay-Z's Takeover. Pusha T's Story of Adidon was a response to Drake's Duppy Freestyle. Killshot by Eminem was a response to Rap Devil by MGK. And even Back to Back was essentially a response to the tweet that Drake doesn't even write his own songs by Meek Mill. With this in mind, as we begin these steps, try to use your powers for good. And once you know from this video how to write a rap diss in a fire way, save your biggest punch as a response. It'll make you look like the bigger man or woman because you'll be able to play the I don't want to have to do this card, but you forced my hand that we'll talk about in step number 3. And as we've just pointed out in cold hard fact and looking back at the evidence, the masses usually respond better to a knockout punch response, right? That like right hook as opposed to that jab when you have it structured that way. Now, step number 1 to learning how to write a rap diss is coming with the let me explain how you failed at life. Let me explain why you're lame. Let me show the audience that you're just a failure angle. This first rap diss tip is pretty much the holy grail of learning how to write a rap diss. Without mastering the ability to demonstrate to the wider audience that somehow, some way, your opponent is a failure at life, it's gonna be hard to annihilate them, or as we say now, ether them. So your first goal in your rap diss is to make no doubts in your audience's mind that your opponent is a failure. And you can do that with multiple angles, as we'll show you in a minute. That could be they're a failure at their relationships, who they're dating, their family, their career, their skills, even their looks. Now, in a minute, we'll have you constructing your own rap disses, but just to make it clear, let's look at some examples in rap battle history. In somewhat ironic fashion, both Pusha T's The Story of Adidon towards Drake and Drake's Back to Back follow a similar you're a failure as a man, you're a failure at life structure. In the case of The Story of Adidon, the entire point of the song is that Drake is a prideful, insecure liar who would go so far as to deny his own son's existence with lines like, let's have a heart-to-heart about your pride. Your music for the last few years been angry and full of lies. A baby's involved. It's deeper than rap. We talking character. Let's keep with the facts. You are hiding a child. Let that boy come home. Now, of course, in The Story of Adidon, there are other you're a failure at life angles, such as talking about the idea that Drake hasn't looked out for his mother after his dad left, or that he parades his dad around like some kind of circus clown. But now let's look at how Drake himself uses a similar you're not a real man angle when talking to Meek Mill on Back to Back. You love her, then you gotta give the world tour. Is that a world tour or your girl's tour? I know that you gotta be a thug for it. This ain't what she meant when she told you to open up more. Now, I can't lie, both the you are hiding a child and is that a world tour or your girl's tour line, yo, they still make me laugh. But in any case, both of them, Drake and Pusha T, are basically going with the you're not a real man, you're a failure at life angle. Now it's your turn. Let's give you a 3-step structure to creating the lyrical framework for your own rap diss. Now, step number 1 for this action item is get out your notes app or your notepad and think of an opponent. Take a second to think of somebody you want to diss. It could be a real person, or to make this easy, just pick a famous rapper or influencer. I mean, it could be me if you like. So take a second, pause the video if you have to, and write down an opponent. Now, step number 2 to this action item is write out the numbers 1 through 5 and the words career, relationship, money, skills, and looks next to them. These are the most 5 common angles to a rap diss. So usually you're coming at the way they look, such as you think you're getting girls now because of your looks, diss in Ether by Nas, or you're dissing their skills, such as you dress better, I rap better, line in Killshot by Eminem, and so on. So take a second and list these angles out. Now, step number 3 is create a you failed angle for each of them, right? You failed at one of these things you just listed. After finishing this video, create a you failed angle for each of these 5. We want to get you more information, so don't feel like you have to do this at this second. But again, for example, let's say you're using me as dissing me as a rap coach. You could write something like career, right? And less than 500K after 7 years. And your disses could be built around the idea that we don't even have 500,000 subscribers and we've been doing it for 7 years and there are channels with millions of people or whatever, like something like that. In any case, the key to this step is just knowing that you must establish and have a through line of the idea that your opponent is a failure at life, and of course make it rhyme. Now, if making it rhyme is a big problem for you, in addition to the Rap Battle Bootcamp, our course in the video description box below also has a free bonus course called the Infinite Rhyme Maker, which will help you come up with an infinite number of rhymes on anything, so be sure to check that out below. Now, step number 2 for how to write a rap diss is question framing, all right? Basically, whatever they're failing at, you want to ask, why do you act like this? Why are you so lame? Why are you a failure at life? Another extremely common through line between these legendary rap disses is using the framing of a question to give the diss an argumentative tone and sort of a humorous confusion about why they're so wet. In other words, often building off that you're a failure at life, like the rapper is asking the opponent, like, so why do you act so dumb? Why are you doubling down on being such a lame? Take a look at some of the questions Eminem asked MGK on Killshot about his Rap Devil diss and subsequent video. You dress better, I rap better. Was that a death threat or a love letter? Are you eating cereal or oatmeal? What the f***'s in the bowl? Milk? Wheaties or Cheerios? Cause I'm taking a in them. Hilarious. Eminem is asking, why are you eating food in your diss video? And why are you calling me the GOAT and saying I'm amazing and I helped raise you, but then also dissing me? Nas uses a similar framing throughout Ether against Jay-Z, both mentioning that Jay-Z has been on his and calling Hov an outright fan who would call Nas's phone. Furthermore, he directly questions why Jay-Z would have so many negatively skewed songs about chicks, probably referencing Song Cry, Soon You'll Understand, and others, asking, you seem to be only concerned with dissing women? Were you abused as a child? Scared to smile? They called you ugly? So here again, we have another example of what would possess you to do XYZ to help your life be more of a failure. And it comes off pretty funny as a question form. So you want to use that because it's sort of like, no, I'm trying to help you out. Like, why are you doing this lame stuff? For this quick training, go back to your notes. All right, now step 1 for this action item is pick one of those you failed angles. So as we're talking, look down and take one of the you failed at this angles. In our example, if you were dissing me, you might choose the career less than 500K. Step 2 on this action item is think of a why do you act this way question. So think of a question you might ask your opponent, the failure at life, about why they are doing this failing behavior. In my example, you might say something like, 7 years in, don't you see your name ain't buzzing? You ain't scored a million yet because the game ain't subbing. Or something to that effect, because you know, you're playing on the substitution, buzzing in, scoring metaphor like basketball and playing with the subs, people ain't subbing, etc. Okay, so take a second and think of your version of a question. Pause the video if you have to, and then we'll come back. Step number 3 to this action item is have at least 3 questions in your rap diss. This last step again can be done after the video, but I highly suggest that you have at least 3 questions in this form in your rap diss. Come back to the video and do 3 other questions if you need. They pack a powerful punch, no pun intended, and when spread out, they will not be noticed as a tactic. Re-listen to Ether and Killshot. They both have at least 3 questions in some form, and it doesn't feel like they're only filled with this technique. And step number 3 to learning how to write a rap diss is the I didn't want to have to do this angle. Like, you forced my hand, I have more important things to do, but you know, now I gotta finish you. This last major framework really builds on the context you're building with the I'm the bigger man, I'm the bigger woman, I got more important things to do, and you're this lame, pathetic loser who's bothering me. Again, just to make this clear, look at how Eminem talks about MGK for most of that diss. Look at the way Nas talks about Jay-Z. You're a fan, you've been calling my phone, I didn't even give you my numbers. Even Drake does a solid job of exemplifying this when he says early in Back to Back, you gonna make me step out of my fucking frame, you gonna make me go out of my fucking way, and ending the song with, we took a break from views, now it's back to that. As if to say, I didn't want to have to put you in your place, I have other things to do like make an album, but since you bothered me, I gotta do this. Drake actually attempted a similar angle on his Duppy freestyle against Pusha T with the line, don't push me when I'm in album mode, you're not even top 5 as far as your label talent goes. But in the broader context of the battle, that didn't land quite as hard, although that was a nice line. Nas also spends essentially the entire third verse of Ether talking about Jay-Z like his son whose father is teaching him a lesson, going so far as to literally call Jay-Z his child who he watched grow up to be famous, and that he smiles like a proud dad watching his only son that made it. So for this last action item, we want you to list some things that you could be doing instead of dealing with this lame, pathetic loser peasant known as your opponent. This one is rather simple. Just list out 3 things you could be doing instead of battling them. Don't think for a second this has to be like objectively cool or something like that. You could just talk about playing video games. I mean, you could create a funny bar about how you could be playing Madden instead of listening to Drew trying to coach how to do the lamest rapping in our example or whatever. So take a second to think of 3 things you could be doing instead of battling your weak opponent. So, tying it all together, the most important thing is you are the more important person, you got stuff to do, and some lame weirdo is messing with you and you're confused, you're befuddled. Why are you messing with me? You already know that I'm your father, I'm better at life, and I've had to go out of my way to put you in your place, etc. If you can establish that in the audience's mind, you're gonna do pretty well. Now, before you go, I wanna see you in the comments. Show us one angle that you're gonna take with a question, right? So like we talked about in steps 1 and 2, write down in the comments, if you're gonna diss their looks, something about like what the angle you're gonna take and why are you so ugly, etc. or whatever. Like use the examples and show us that you've done the work. We try to react to every comment. We really try to get the community going. So, and be sure to pick up those free video courses all about battling, etc. So I appreciate you watching. It's the big homie Drew. See you on the next one. Peace.